All right. Yeah, man. This streaming be something else. I already thought I had it started. I was already talking, but yeah, let's get into it, man. Now, let me say this because look, this is going to be one of the most important live streams you're going to ever witness when it comes to AI. So, make sure you strap your seatbelts because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Now, let me say this before we even get started. Y'all better pay attention to this one because this ain't one of them regular conversations where we just come on here and talk for 10 minutes, nod our head, and then go right back to scrolling like a lab rat with the Wi-Fi. No, this one got a little more weight on it. There are 3 stages to the loss of human connection. And whether people want to admit it or not, we already in stage 2. And we finna go over all of this. We're gonna go over what it's gonna look like in stage 3 potentially, which means all of this weirdness you see right now, the awkwardness, the isolation, the people acting like eye contact is a felony. That ain't random. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the shift. And we are gonna break down my theory-based educational lesson on what stage 3 could look like. You know what I'm saying? What to expect and why, depending on what kind of human you are, you might not like where this is all going, right? Some of y'all think that AI is just about helping you write an essay, fix your resume, or, make you sound smart in an email you should have wrote yourself. No, this is bigger than that. This is about what happens when people get so comfortable with technology that real humans start feeling like bad customer service. Too slow, too emotional, too unpredictable, too much breathing, and too many unnecessary opinions. Imagine if everybody started communicating like Walter Weeks on Fresh and Fit. Every sentence sound like it's trying to find a parking spot. Those kind of vibes. And the scary part is once people get used to artificial comfort, real connection can start feeling like work. So this ain't just, a video about AI. This is a conversation about human connection, why it matters, what we may lose if we don't protect it, and how we might still prevent the unpredictable before it becomes normal. So make sure you lock in because this one right here, this one got that movie energy. So yeah, make sure you smash the like button, hit the hype button, leave your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, all that.
Master Quincy warned us about the robots slowly taking over us, the way we think, the way we move, our creativity. It was all in real time back in the 2020s, when people used to do videos and live stream. Yes, he warned us, but no one wanted to listen.
Now, before we get into the lesson, I want you to know that there used to be a time where people had real connection. Now, hold on. I know somebody is already thinking, Master Quincy, what you mean? We still got connection? Yeah, to an extent we do, but to an extent we don't. I come from an era where you could sit at the dinner table, no phones, no distractions, just real conversations, real laughter, real presence. Now, man, picture this. You got a whole family at the dinner table, mama scrolling through Facebook, dad watching YouTube, his volume too loud, little bro on TikTok laughing at somebody nobody else understands, and somebody on FaceTime with headphones in like they not even there. The food getting cold, nobody talking, but everybody somehow is connected. That's the world that we live in. See, these phones, they the greatest gift. And at the same time, they could be the greatest curse. Because nature has a certain importance to it. And human connection is part of that nature. And what people don't realize is, as we move into the future, we slowly stepping away from more unnatural ways of living. And it don't happen all at once. It happens little by little until one day you wake up and realize something feels a little off, right? We are living in what I would call the golden age of real human connection, because what's coming next is going to be different. We don't really know what to expect, but we know it's going to be different. We're in the middle of multiple revolutions right now, but the biggest one is the artificial intelligence revolution. And it's not just changing jobs, it's changing human connection itself. We got people talking to bots more than they talk to their own family. We got relationships being influenced by algorithms, attention being controlled, and reality being filtered through screens. Ooh, excuse me. And the scary part is that it's not coming, it's already here. And this is just a conversation, my perspective. Take what resonates, do your own thinking, your own researching. As someone who studies AI strategy and where this is all going, this is something we need to pay attention to, right? So let's get into these documents. All right, so the rise of convenience and digital connection. That was between the years of 1995 and 2018. We're going to go over each phase. And each phase is going to give you, a different outlook on how this transition has taken place and what's going on now and what could possibly happen in the future. Phase 1A, early internet era. This is the era between 1995 and 2005. We had some things that was introduced to us, like public internet expansion, email replaces letters, instant messaging, early cell phones. Communication became faster, but still international. People still prioritized face-to-face interaction. Phone calls over texting. Things were still at a normal phase between 1995 and 2005, but this was pretty much the beginning of the revolution. Now, a lot of people think that the beginning of the revolution is now. My opinion, and what I believe, my perspective, my theories, it started in 1995 when the early internet era began. Phase 1B, that's the social media. When social media emerged, right? It came to the forefront. That's when Facebook opened up. That was like in 2006. YouTube, that was in like 2005. Twitter, 2006, right? You notice how all these companies was rising around the same time? I wonder if it's something to that. But what changed is, people started sharing their lives online during this time. Seeking validation, likes, comments. All of these things were starting to become important to people. Not as much as it is now, but hey, the smartphones started to rise around 2007. Yeah, that's when things really started to pop off. You know, a lot of people started getting smartphones. It was still a lot of people that didn't really have phones like that, right? They was kind of just getting used to seeing what was going on around that time. You know, people figuring it out. But it was a time to be alive. I'll tell you that, because the internet wasn't how it is now. The internet wasn't how it is now at all, right? But it was still, to people who never had smartphones at a young age, such as myself, it was like, oh, this is it. We should have had these when we were shorties. That was the thought process that a lot of people had, right? And it was a great time to be alive. But human connection was still extremely, extremely important. Yeah, seriously. Phase 3, the loss of human connection started to, in my opinion, decline. Phase 3, which is phase 1C, the convenience has started to replace presence, right? Whatever was more convenient, that is around the time that type of situation started to increase. Convenience, convenience, convenience. Instagram exploded. Snapchat growth. Y'all remember Snapchat when that came out? You know what I'm saying? Mobile apps was dominating daily life. Notifications became constant. There used to be a time where it wasn't no notifications. You didn't have no notifications. You was just living life and figuring it out without, these conveniences. Yeah, but that's when the convenience started to rise between 2012 and 2016. Now we got to think about what changed. Yeah, what changed? This is a point in time where people are always connected but always distracted. You know what I'm saying? Less eye contact. I was noticing that people were starting to have shorter conversations. I started noticing that people started to, like, people was starting to get ignored for phones. Imagine, I bet you at your job right now, in the lunchroom, it's extremely quiet. You may have 1 or 2 or 3 people talking every now and then, but I guarantee you it's extremely quiet and everybody got their face down in their phone the whole lunch period. How many people is going through that right now? Drop that in the comments if that's what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? You can do it now, you can do it later. But for sure, that was, you know what I'm saying? That was the rise of that situation. But that's pretty much what's going on now, I guarantee you. Now, phase 4, 1D, because it's 4 phases for the first stage. Because we talking about from 1995 to 2018. And then next we're going to get into what's going on right now. So there were some more key developments that got added in. Let's talk about the algorithm-driven feeds. That started to take over. TikTok began to rise. What year did TikTok come out? Was that 2017 or 2018? But once TikTok came, people started having shorter attention spans. So that means a lot of long form content that you used to watch and like. Now it's all about short term videos. People want to see something in 10, 20 seconds, get that instant gratification, that instant information, and just be gone. Which, in a lot of cases, that's not enough time to truly understand the full scope of things, because you need that experience, right? And you get experience through long form content. That's why a lot of my trading education I make sure that it's long form content. I'll be going over some stuff for a whole hour, whole 2-3 hours, because I want you to really understand, and you're not going to get that in short form content. But a lot of people goes to the short form content, and it's addictive. It's very, very addictive, because you can watch a 1 minute video, but it might have been a whole hour, and you're going to judge that 1 minute video, but you're not going to get the whole full understanding if you haven't watched a full hour of it. You know what I'm saying? Things became more personalized, more addictive. Oh my God, sure, it's addictive to people, right? Endless scrolling, right? It wasn't a lot of endless scrolling in 2012 and between 2012 and 2016, but 2016 to 2018, scrolling became scrolling through thousands and thousands of videos a day, or photos, or looking at content on your feed. It's increased. The data shows it, right? So what changed the most once 2016 hit is that people no longer was able to choose what it is that they see because of the algorithm. Platforms feed them what keeps them engaged. And also, you getting information fed based off of what you normally look at. So they're going to keep pushing information that the algorithm knows that you're going to most likely look at, right? Which means technology got smarter. Which to me, it can always be a gift and a curse depending on what it is you're talking about or who it is you're talking about. Because a lot of people react to things a lot differently than other people. You know what I'm saying? And that's just that's just is what it is. Now we enter, after this algorithm era, you're going to see that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of things changed up. Let's get to the next stage. Right? The next stage. And this I put a lot of time, effort, and work into, showing you guys this. So the least we could do is just hit the like button. Trust me, I would truly appreciate it. Your like, your comment, your subscription, it does mean a lot. And it makes me want to put in more hard work. All right, so if you take a look, the AI dependency and isolation. 2020, that's when AI becomes useful, from 2020 to 2022, right? Now, that's when a lot of people started watching, AI. AI becomes personal in 2023 to 2024. And then AI becomes integrated from 2024 to 2026. And then we're going to get into phase 2D, which is, pretty much discussing what times could possibly look like in the future. But one thing we got to understand is that, these phones has become so addictive, and not only that, children are watching these phones and, looking at stuff on these phones at a very, very young age. I was in the grocery store the other day, and I ain't even gonna lie, this caught me off guard. I'm seeing a literal infant in the grocery cart. You know the part where you put the groceries at? This little man laid out horizontal like he at the crib. Got his mama purse as a pillow. And he got his phone in his hand. I had to double take, like, hold on, like, what's going on here? This boy couldn't have been no older than 2 years old. Kid you not. And he wasn't just holding the phone. He was locked in. Thumb moving, eyes focused, like he got some business he taking care of. I'm looking like, man, at 2 years old, I was trying to eat the remote control. this little dude out here scrolling like he checking notifications. I said, no, we in a different time. And it's not that I was just so surprised at this moment, like I've seen it, like I ain't never seen it before. I always seen it, but that was a moment I had to just really hone in on, because it was recent, and I see a lot of children that have, over the past few years, been going through that. That's the kind of era that we in right now. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not here to judge nobody's parenting, but that moment made me think, because what looks normal today might actually be shaping something deeper. You got kids now being introduced to screens before they even fully learn how to talk, before they build real world interaction skills, before they even understand emotions properly. And what happens over time? Attention spans start getting shorter, patience starts getting weaker, and real life interaction starts feeling slower than a screen. Now imagine this. A child grows up used to instant entertainment, instant feedback, constant stimulation. We call that instant gratification. Then they get put in a classroom or where they having a real conversation and it don't hit the same. Now they bored, they distracted, they disconnected, and they ready to get right back to that addictive device. And here is where things get deeper. If a child learns early on that comfort, having that comfort of being able to look at the screen, what happens when they get older? Do they go to people for connection, or do they go back to devices? And again, this ain't about blaming anybody, right? This is about awareness, because small habits today turn into entire lifestyles tomorrow. That grocery store moment, that wasn't just, a funny moment for me. It's just a small glimpse into the future. For real, for real. Now let's get back into these documents, right? Because this is going to be an important stage here, because what happened during this stage, and what's happening right now is going to be a huge reflection on what could possibly happen in the future. And you want to always, just like in trading, you want to always, stay focused on, what possibilities that could come in the near future. What could happen in the near future? That's something that you always want to think and talk about when we are discussing these topics about AI. All right. So 2020, right? From 2020 to 2026, we already knew what we had to deal with between 2018 and 2020. And that's a whole nother conversation that we're not going to get into. But 2020 was the replacement phase, right? The replacement phase. This is when AI is becoming a lot more useful. And AI starts entering in business tools, customer service, automation. So your job, you know what I'm saying? You're starting to see a lot of people using AI, a lot of businesses using AI. Not a lot of people, around 20% of businesses was using AI in 2020. So we got to take a look at that. If 20% of businesses was using AI, and AI is beneficial for a business because it's all about innovation and integration, making things faster. and receiving information that can help you produce faster is always beneficial for a business. So if 20% was being used in 2020, how much you think in 2030, how many businesses you think gonna be using AI? In 2040, how many businesses you think are gonna be using AI? You see what I'm saying? So we got a lot to think about. And what does this mean for human connection around this time? Less human interaction, right? That customer service, the support systems. You know, a lot of people, a lot of companies started using where you can pay for the items yourself, which now you don't need people scanning items at the register. Yeah, you don't need that no more. So humans started using the system more and more and more. Now, how do you say this? This is when AI first became useful, right? So there's no emotions yet. You know what I'm saying? Nothing personal. A lot of people didn't take it serious. And 2023 hits. 2023 to 2024, AI became a lot more personal, right? That's when generative AI started to explode. People started using images and photos. Like you might see, I use a lot of AI photos and sometimes small clip videos for AI. That started to happen in 2023, 2024. Now I've been kind of following since 2020 and doing a lot of research and a lot of stuff since 2020. But 2023 and 2024 is when it started to become normal for the average person, right? AI goes from tool to conversation partner, right? Over 50% usage growth in 1 year. By 2024, 78% of companies was using AI. Y'all listening to what I'm saying? Should I have to run that back? Remember, in 2020, it was 20%, around 20% of businesses using AI. Now in 2024, 78% of companies was using AI. Why? How? How did the increase? And we ain't even talking about the robot expansion yet. That's supposedly that's supposed to be hot in 2023. But a lot of people started using AI for advice. You know, businesses are using AI for advice. Venting the AI. A lot of people are venting the AI. You know, people are actually at this point starting to use AI to think. People is not thinking for themselves as much. You know, because once you have some assistance like AI, if anybody uses AI, you already know that, you know, you can use it and be effective when it comes to actually thinking. But what I would tell most people is, why would you even want to use AI like that much on a level to where it's keeping you from being creative and using your own thoughts? Because the more people that start to use AI, the more that it becomes everybody's saying the same exact things, right? So 2023, 2024, yeah, that's when AI was really starting to make a big shift. And you could even see it now in a lot of people conversations. I see people commenting and debating. And I can tell when somebody's using AI, not just off the way they are vocalizing what it is that, like debating, but based off how it's being typed. Like, I have experience and I have certifications in AI, AI prompt engineering to be exact. And what I started to notice is that people are using AI to comment or debate or comment in people's comment section. And I'm like, just use your own thoughts. Use it to help you. Maybe use it to help craft your thoughts, or maybe use it to help you put your commas and your periods and your explanation marks, like all of that. But don't just use it for every single thing, every single thought. Because us real ones, we're going to be able to tell, right? And humans are we are some strange beings. Now phase 2C, because I'm ready to get to the predictions, right? 2024 to 2026, and this is what's happening right now, and I want you to pay close attention, right? Because roughly 1 in 6 people globally are using AI tools. Globally using AI tools. Business scaling, and that's what AI is good for. Good for business scaling. You have your own business, try to use AI as an assistant to help you. But don't get caught in the trap. Don't get caught in the web, right? AI integrated, you know what I'm saying, into phones, apps, work, you know what I'm saying? Business scaling, AI rapidly. Just so fast. This happens so rapidly fast, y'all. The companies, oh my God, companies are deploying 11 times more AI systems into production than before, right? No matter what kind of system. Now, this is the strongest area. This is the strongest AI has been, because if you have noticed, all the way from the beginning, from 2020, when AI was not operating at its best, you can see in 2025, 2026 that it was operating 10 times better, and it's only getting better because it's having the ability to understand how we think and how we do things. Not only us, how we use certain tools, how we use certain images. And what this means in this current stage is that AI is always available. AI is always responsive, right? It's always available for you. It's always learning you. And now this shift, it's like it went from assistant to dependency. 2023, 2020, from 2020 to 2023, it was all about personal assistant. Now it's starting to become into dependency, is what it seems like, right? Yeah. And it's not. I'm trying to choose my words correctly, because there's certain things you could say and there's certain things that you should not be saying. But what I can say is that everything is happening rapidly fast. And before I get into, the predictions and where I stand at and my theories, right? I want you to know that you make sure that you keep your friends and family close and still have good connections with people. Because my theory is not to keep you, in a fear-based kind of mindset. It's not to keep you in fear. It's to give you an understanding on what could potentially happen if we keep going in the same path. Because as a market analyst, I pay attention to patterns and trends. Remember, it's not all about trading. It's not all about me understanding trading. It's also about being able to pay attention to patterns and trends over time. Now, let's see if we can get into the next. Okay, no, phase 2D. Yep, phase 2D, where AI becomes preferred, right? And this is all theory. This is 2026 to 2023, right? Where my theory is expected to believe that the human connection will start to decline, right? Slowly but surely. And this is something I truly, truly believe in. I want y'all to tell me what y'all think about. Think about that. What do y'all think about it? Do y'all think that if we are going on the same path, the same type of, if we keep going in the same kind of pattern and following the same kind of trend, and you can see the numbers are going up, like I just told you, businesses in 2020, 20% of businesses was using AI. Now in 2024, 2026, or was it 2023? 78% of businesses was using AI. I wonder what that would look like if that number got to 100%. Drop down in the comments. Do you think that businesses would get up to 100%? Like all businesses are using AI integrated. Do you think it could go there? Right? And I'm gonna give y'all time to go ahead and drop your comment, and we're gonna get into my theory and predictions.
Master Quincy warned us about the robots slowly taking over us, the way we think, the way we move, our creativity. It was all in real time back in the 2020s, when people used to do videos and live stream. Yes, he warned us, but no one wanted to listen.
All right. So this is the part 2D, my theory, my predictions, right? I could be totally wrong. Come back in about 10 years and comment and say, you were wrong. But this is my theory. I don't want to, put fear on nobody, because who knows? AI could be just the best thing ever, right? It could be the best thing ever. We could have those possibilities. Hey, it could make human connection 10 times better, right? Who knows? But here's my theory, right? This is where we really have to think. We really have to think, not panic. You know what I'm saying? Not assume, but just ask real questions and, follow through. If AI winded up becoming easier to talk, if AI becomes easier to talk to people and people start choosing it more often, then, over time, real conversations may start to feel like more effort. Like you got to put more effort into just having a basic conversation with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Instead of everything just flowing natural, right? And it's nothing like having a good conversation with somebody and having it flow natural. But think about it like what would happen if a lot of people just started to fall more deep into AI companion, and now we starting to add Neuralink. We don't know if Neuralink is going to when that could possibly drop, but there are people like right now getting that experience of using Neuralink, right? And from what I heard, it hasn't really been no No bad experiences from what I've seen and what I've researched, right? But you got to think about it. If AI responds instantly and adapts to you and learns how you think, then people may start expecting that, you know what I'm saying, that same level of ease. They might have the same expectations that they have speaking to AI. They might think that the same conversations that we have, right, as humans, I may be expecting you to be just as perfect as AI. So now that causes frustration. So Master Quincy, what are you saying, that people could start getting frustrated with each other? Absolutely. Conversations can start to be more frustration. I could start to see that a little bit now. You know what I'm saying? Imagine you having a conversation with somebody and every 5 seconds they pulling out their phone and look at their phone to like get virtual signal or give you some type of signal like, look, I got stuff to do on my phone. I ain't trying to hear what you got to say. Right? Drop down in the comments if you've heard, I mean, not heard, but if you've actually experienced that. Like, you're in a conversation with somebody, whether you done it yourself or somebody did it to you, and y'all just chopping it up, and then every 5 minutes he like, why y'all communicating, right? That could be, a little exhausting or frustrating to both people. Because I'm looking at it like, damn, we having a conversation, bro. You just gonna pull out your phone like that? Or the person who pull out their phone, they looking at you like, dang, bro, you talk too much. Why you talking so much? I'm trying to hurry up and get back to what I was doing on my phone. And it probably wasn't nothing. Probably was playing Tetris. You know what I'm saying? People be doing some crazy stuff on the phones though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got their own thing, man. I ain't here to knock people and what they do, but you know what I'm saying? We got to think about it. If AI helps you create, write, and think, and you rely on it more and more, think about what that could do for the human connection. You know what I'm saying? What could that do? And these are just, you know what I'm saying, some strong questions that I'm throwing out there just so you can have an idea of like, okay, maybe this could happen. You know what I'm saying? Think with me on this one, y'all. Think with me. Because these predictions, you can kind of, the way I'm breaking it down to you, you can kind of draw off your own instincts about like what could happen. Could that make people not want to communicate more? If people have AI companions, you know what I'm saying? And once something happened and other people see it, they start to want to get involved with it themselves. Like, for instance, there might be somebody right now like, I do not want to have no AI companion. Now you start to see 10, 15 other people doing it, and you see that they're enjoying it. You might see that they might be benefiting from it, and now you want to do it. Think about it. Let's go back to that example. In 2020, businesses was using AI. At 20% of businesses was using AI. You know what I'm saying? A couple years later, 78%. That's a high jump within a few years. So you got to think about how the dice will roll or how the statistics will play out. You know what I'm saying? If people is going to AI for advice, comfort, and direction on a daily basis, I don't know. Human connection can start, getting weaker over time. It could. It really could. I mean, what do you think? Do you think it can? You know what I'm saying? You going for you getting comfort and advice on a daily basis, and to top it off, I don't know why people use AI so much, because it's not like it's 100% accurate. A lot of it come off a lot of thoughts that you put out The AI studies you. It wants to know how you think, and it's going to produce information based off what and how you think. And a lot of people don't even realize that. They think, oh, ChatGPT gave me the answer. It's correct. No. When I use AI, I use it. I'm like, where the resources at? Point me. I need to know. I need to do extensive research as opposed to just typing in something in AI. For real, for real. And that's how you gotta think about it. That's what you gotta be on. Like ain't no ifs, ands, buts, or maybes. We are living in different times now, right? We are living in different times, and I want y'all to start focusing. Now I have something else I gotta drop for y'all. Now this is gonna be very, very exquisite, right? So I want you to pay close attention. Oh, there it is. So, AI and human connection, baby. All right, hopefully y'all can see that. Hopefully y'all can see that. Yeah, y'all should be able to see that. All right. Hope everybody is having a, smooth Saturday. A smooth Saturday, man. It's been a bumpy road. You know what I'm saying? And I want y'all to drop down in the comment section. If you think that I'm just way off base, I have no idea what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? My study, my research is just flawed. Let me know that in the comments. If you must believe just AI is just you know what I'm saying? Everything about it is gonna be 100% great for people, right? Let me know. Drop down in the comment section. Drop that down in the comment section. We finna get into this. I want y'all to, if you can read it. If not, just wait for me. But I want y'all to see what it is that I'm showing right now. And this is all about, brain rewiring, emotional skill decline, loneliness paradox. You know what I'm saying? And this is just my theory based off this whole live stream. All the information that I've been able to produce for you, right? Think about from 1995 to 2018. That was the first stage. Second stage is 2018 to 2020. To 2036. We are in the late stages, on the late end of stage 2, which is 2026 to 2036, right? So right now, this is all prediction, all theory, all shoulda, coulda, woulda, if, ands, buts, or maybes. That's what we're talking about right now, right? So this is my theory based off my studying, following patterns, following trends. This is the information that I'm giving you. So I don't want to give y'all my solutions just yet, because if this goes any further than where we are, they're gonna have to scale back. What I could see happening is I could see that they're gonna see that the human connection is starting to get a lot more poorly, and they're gonna start coming up with solutions on how to get that, because human connection is very, very important, y'all. Human connection is very, very important. That's something that I want y'all to know. And if you think people is isolated now, boy oh boy, I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. So I'm gonna hit y'all with the intro one more time, and we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this next phase. This is a pretty long video. I'm gonna chop it up too. I'm gonna make some videos and chop it up. But make sure y'all hit the like button, comment, and subscribe for your boy.
Master Quincy warned us about the robots slowly taking over us, the way we think, the way we move, our creativity. It was all in real time back in the 2020s, when people used to do videos and live stream. Yes, he warned us, but no one wanted to listen.
All right, so let's go back. This here was from 1995 to 2005. Remember, we went over this. This was all about family. You could see that old computer in the background. It's about family being able to spend time and enjoy each other's time. No devices, right? Windows computers was out and all of that. 2005 to 2012. 2005 to 2012. Right? This is all first stage. This is all first stage. Remember, everybody was starting to get computers. You was mad when somebody else had a computer. You go over your friend's house just to use the computer because you didn't have your own. It was a struggle. Nowadays, you just device in hand. It's right here. I got it right here in my hand. What a time. I remember those days. Then this. You can guess those years. 2012 to 2016. This is what we started to see. This is what we are starting to see. When we get into this next section, it's gonna tear you apart on how you think, on my theory based off everything that I think, believe, and studied over time. But this is where things are. This is where they was. Right? 2016 to 2018, things got ramped up. We knew what happened between 2018 and 2020. Remember, we know that. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to leave that one alone. But you could see she in her bed chilling. This is dinner time. This is when you're supposed to be at the dinner table, right? But you can see she went through 30 videos. That's what this image shows. Right? The stage 1, the rise of convenience and digital connection. Stage 2, AI dependency and isolation. Right? That's what it was all about. From 2020 present to near future. Stage 2 is probably gonna last up to 2035, but there's an overlap. It's an overlap because stage 3 is also going to start in 2030, right? And I'm gonna break this all down. So let's go back to AI, human connection, right? Let's start with the brain. Because whether people realize it or not, your brain adapts to whatever environment you give it. That's a part of how humans survive. You practice something over and over and over again. Your brain, it gets better at that thing. You avoid something over and over, your brain gets weaker in that area, right? So if a large number of people begin relying on AI emotionally or conversationally, yeah, over time, the brain may start adapting to that style of interaction. So if it's adapting to, you know, that style of interaction by using an AI companion, you know what I'm saying? The ability to communicate with humans is gonna become a lot more difficult. You see what I'm saying? And this is just a small part. And remember, this is all theory. If I'm wrong, in 10 years, you can come back to this video and you could cuss me out, right? Because this is all theory and prediction. I got to make sure I reiterate that regardless of what I know. I got to reiterate that. So now, why does this matter? Like, Master Quincy, why do you care so much to talk about this, right? Because I have, you know, a family, and my family got to grow up in this world when I'm gone. And you know what I'm saying? They got to witness either what could be madness or could be the most beautifulest thing ever. Like I told you, technology is a gift and a curse. It could be the greatest gift or it could be the greatest curse. So, yeah, over time, the brain may start adapting to that style of interaction. Now, why does that matter? Because, you know what I'm saying? Human beings are messy creatures, right? We're messy. Let's just get down to the bottom of it. Because we pause, you know what I'm saying? We misunderstand, we interrupt. We are not perfect. We take things the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to us. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we don't explain ourselves all the way. Sometimes we tired. You know what I'm saying? What AI you know that get tired? Right? What AI do you know that actually gets tired? Let me pull the documents back up. So we could address it piece by piece. We're going to address everything piece by piece. So right now we on brain wiring. Sometimes we don't explain ourselves clearly. We just really don't. But AI can explain itself real clear. Now AI still make mistakes too. But their rates are a lot high. Our rates are a lot lower than their rates. Right? It's a lot to human beings. And it's all about psychological, right? It's psychological. The more we start getting used to devices, not spending time with our family the way we should, and we just in the phones, with our AI companions or whatever's going on, the brain is going to be wired over time, right? And it could be worse for the next generation than it is for us, just honestly speaking. So it's going to come to a point to where now when you deal with a real person, it feels like, you know, your Wi-Fi acting up. You know what I'm saying? Not because the person is broken, but because your expectations got rewired. You see what I'm saying? Your expectations got rewired. Let's go back to these documents. All right, boom. There we go. We still on brain rewiring. We got work to do, right? And that's the danger, that humans didn't change first. Your tolerance did. You know what I'm saying? Your tolerance did. Now we have emotional skill decline. Emotional skill decline. And when we think about this, we got to think about people's creativity, right? And how, you know what I'm saying? We could go real deep with emotional skill decline. You know what I'm saying? Human beings, build emotional skills through friction. So a lot of the things you think that's not right is friction. Human beings, we argue. You know what I'm saying? We get mad, we get sad, we cry. You know what I'm saying? That awkward conversation that you didn't want to have, that taught you something, right? That misunderstanding with somebody you care about, that taught you something. You know what I'm saying? It teaches you patience. It teaches you a lot of things that you thought that you may have never had. You know what I'm saying? That rejection, that thought, that rejection that taught you emotional control. Because people get rejected and they get to tweaking. They don't know how to control their emotions, right? But you able to learn how to control your emotions when dealing with humans. When you deal with AIs, things may come off a little perfect or robotic-ish. But as you see, the more we age, the more AI gets used to how we think and how we feel, and they're starting to respond and think and act something like how we do. So it could potentially come to a point in time to where you're communicating with an AI, and it's almost like having a conversation with a regular human. Only difference is AI is, their intelligence level is way beyond ours. Even if they're completely wrong about something, it can still speak better than you. It can still generate thoughts quicker than you. It could generate images quicker than you. You know what I'm saying? But if more people start spending more time in interactions, you know what I'm saying, that removes the friction. Now you got to think about, where does the growth come from? See, AI can be useful, right? It can help you organize thoughts. It can help people reflect. It can help people slow down, right? But if somebody starts leaning on into it too much for emotional clarity, too much for, conversation, then that's when things start to become where you're more, your emotions are getting tied in, is getting used to the way AI moving, right? As opposed to actual humans. So the more time you spend with AI, the less time you're gonna spend with humans. And when you get around humans, you're not gonna know how to control your emotion. Your emotions are gonna be different. How about I'll just say that your emotions are gonna be different. Yeah. Now, a person asking too many questions, it's gonna feel draining. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna feel draining trying to communicate with a human, and that can affect your emotions as well, right? Somebody misunderstanding your point, it'll feel like a burden. Like, you can't understand me. You can't understand what kind of conversation we having. Like, what we talking about? What are you talking about? You're gonna be so used to communicating with AI. And this, remember, like I say, this is all theory based educational, right? No guarantees. This is all experience, watching patterns and trends. As a market analyst, I pay attention to trends and patterns, right? But imagine somebody getting used to that. The AI responds exactly how they like. Clear, fast, respectful. You know what I'm saying? No attitude. Then they gonna talk to a real person. They gonna talk to you. They gonna talk to a human being, right? The real person cuts them off by mistake. That's natural though. That's what human beings do. You know what I'm saying? Misunderstand the tone. It's natural. That's what human beings do. Rambling like I am, like I've been doing this whole life. Good information though, but rambling, that's what humans do. Emotional, we get emotional. That's what human beings do. Taking things too personal, that's what human beings do. If it can get to a point in time, it could potentially get to a point in time to where people are gonna think that that's not normal. But that's so normal. This is what's been going on for thousands of years since humans have been able to communicate with one another. You know what I'm saying? And real people require emotional labor, right? So let's get into it. I'm gonna try to speed this up a little bit. We've been on here longer than an hour. The loneliness paradise. The loneliness paradise. Here's another prediction. Yeah, people gonna be getting lonely. And this is where it get cold. I'm talking about it gets cold because loneliness and attachment shifts, they go hand in hand. A lot of people think loneliness only means being alone. That's not true. You could be constantly engaged and still be lonely. You know what I'm saying? You can talk all day and still not feel connected. Like we as humans, we could be having a conversation for minutes, maybe an hour, but still not feel connected, especially when you got what? A device in hand. Yeah. See what I'm saying? What did I say earlier about having conversations with people and somebody pulling out their phone like they try to escape the conversation using their phone? Like, I got shit to do, man. You talking too goddamn much. You see what I'm saying? Being lonely, it's hard to feel lonely when you have AI, but when we talking about humans, the connection is not the same. I don't see it being the same. Like you would have to truly be a person who just love being alone 24/7 to be able to deal with what it is that I'm talking about. Because AI, you know what I'm saying? It can simulate connection. It could simulate connection. It could connect with you the way you want it to connect. Imagine the AI being able to pick up on how you want to be connected, and then it's gonna connect with you. Do you know how harder that would be to actually communicate with somebody who an actual person? You see what I'm saying? I know y'all know what I'm talking about, man. I know I can't be the only one tripping, but I mean, if you feel like I don't know what I'm saying, your boy, I don't know. He don't know Master Quincy don't know what the heck he talking about. I mean, if you truly, truly feel like that, all I gotta say is, let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see. Y'all got to think about you got to think about humans in its track record, and how much can AI actually copy from us? You know what I'm saying? Because we have a bad track record as human beings, right? We lie, we cheat, we betray, we manipulate, right? We commit crimes. We take advantage of people. We do foul things to innocent people. Human history is full of unpredictability. So I understand why somebody might look at that and say, you know what, I'd rather deal with something that feels safer. And then you got to think about, don't just think about you, think about the average person. The average, you might be different. You might be like, you know what, forget all that. I'm going to make sure I have strong human connection for the rest of my existence. But that might not be it for the average person. And then you going to wind up getting sucked into that. That's all about where are we? We at the lonely paradox, right? That's where the attachment shift starts to happen. If a person starts seeing AI as the safe companion, the safe listener, the safe presence, then they may begin avoiding the human, emotional risk that comes with human beings. No rejection, no ghosting, no betrayal. You know what I'm saying? No random mood swings, no fake loyalty. All of that. It's a lot of people who got a lot of fake loyalty in them. You know what I'm saying? So let's get to population impact. Now, this is one of my favorite ones in this theory. This is for sure one of my favorite ones, but it's not. When I say favorite, I don't mean that like it's a good thing. I just mean it's an interesting theory, or a well groomed prediction that I came up with. Now, we got to talk about something that I know the population impact. People not going. I think some people going to disagree with me, but I feel strong about this one. And as far as the population impact and relationships, think about this. If virtual intimacy becomes more normal, it could change dating culture in a major way. Think about that. If people start to enjoy VR more than actual human connection, you know what I'm saying? In the bed, room, if you know what I'm talking about. Digital experiences, you know what I'm saying, that feel emotionally or romantically satisfying enough that some people may stop pursuing real world relationships with the same urgency. Think about what that means. If somebody can create their ideal companion, if you could create your own AI companion, right? Customize the personality, customize the appearance, customize the vibe, customize how the character talks to them, and get emotional or intimate satisfaction from that experience, what happens next? What happens next? Do you think we're going to be more in tune with each other? Think about it. You can make creative players. I know y'all like this dude crazy, but you really can create a character. And that's your character that you'll be able to connect with, is what I'm saying. But, because the digital, version feels easier, more controlled, less riskier, think about it. If everybody in the world just said, you know what, we're going to stop dealing with each other intimately, do you think that the next generation is going to increase the birth rates, or is the birth rates going to decrease? Will it be an increase or a decrease? If everybody just say, you know what, virtual reality, the virtual intimacy feels like the real thing. right? If you know what I'm saying, it feels almost the same. You ain't got to deal with a human, and you got to think about the. I don't know if I could say this on live, but you know, a lot of people are getting damaged by having, you know, intimacy with each other. You know, catching things that they shouldn't be catching. Yeah, let me just say that. Now, um, this kind of ties into relationships, right? So population impact and relationship breakdown, they kind of tie into the same thing, because we also could see the divorce rates skyrocket, right? Because JoJo Smith is starting to use his AI companion more. His wife is starting to use her AI companion more, and they're dealing with perfect AI robotic people, or just dealing with an AI companion. So if that begins to start happening on a large scale, then guess what? People not gonna want to deal with each other. Or is it possible that they gonna deal with each other and they're just gonna say, you know what, I got my AI companion. I'd rather deal with my AI companion. And we could just still, you know, we could just still be married on paper. What do you think? What do you guys think? You know what I'm saying? This could affect marriages and long-term relationships too. Not just marriages, but yeah, long-term relationships. And I want to paint a simple, you know, a simple story. Imagine a husband and a wife. They both work, they both tired, the relationship got stressed, got a lot of stress on it. You know what I'm saying? Just like most real relationships do. Like, you know, most relationships is not just all sweet and sour. You know what I'm saying? Not just all sweet. But, you know, you're dealing with bills, got to deal with kids, pressure, miscommunication. You know what I'm saying? Normal human life. That's all normal human life. It's been normal for I don't know how long, centuries, right? Now imagine one of them starts spending more time talking to that AI companion. It's gonna be a wrap, Joe. It's gonna be a wrap, Joe. But this is just my theory, my AI human connection theory. We got the identity and reality distortion. And then we're going to get into economic effects, and we're going to get into the dependency risk, and then we're going to hit those solutions. Solutions. Because what I think is going to happen after they realize that people are losing human connection, and it's affecting the business world, it's affecting real, you know, people's health. I believe human connection can, based off what I know, I believe that human connection can ruin people mentally, because as humans, we not meant to be alone, right? We meant to have, you know, people. We meant to be in sync with each other. And how Sway, like, how are we going to be able to manage this properly to where life can still be what it should be, right? But, you know, identity and reality distortion. Now, if a person spends more and more time in interactions that adapt to them, affirm them, make them feel good inside, you know what I'm saying? Now you get used to responses that fit your style, right? You get used to perspective being reflected back in a cleaner way. Basically, what I'm saying is you get used to being delusional. You know what I'm saying? Real people disagree. Real people challenge you. Real people don't always reinforce how you see yourself. So the more somebody lives in a customized interaction environment, the harder it may become to tolerate unfiltered reality. And that can distort identity too, right? You can forget who you are. You might start building your sense of self around what feels affirming. And not to mention, people love attention. So if you're not getting attention from humans like that, but you're getting a lot of attention from your AI companion, I just don't. I think that could be dangerous. I think it could be dangerous. That's what I think, right? But like I say, I'm not here to put fear in anybody. I just want people to be aware, and I want people to understand my perspective, because I do study AI strategies, pay attention to patterns and trends, and a lot of this stuff is very, very deep to me, right? And I would love for our human connection to stay tight, right? I know this is a long one, so let's get into the economic effects, because this shift, you know what I'm saying, doesn't just affect feelings; it affects economics. If people start dating less, going out less, buying less for social performance, then spending patterns, they're gonna change, right? Less money on nightlife, less money on dates, less money on certain appearances. You know what I'm saying? Less money trying to impress folks. You see what I'm saying? They may stop spending as much chasing social approval. Why? Because you're getting all approval you need from your AI companion. You see how everything ties back into a circle, right? You might have somebody saying, man, this robot accepts me as I am. Bald head, crooked beard, crooked teeth, tired knees, bad outfit coordination and all. My AI robot, my AI companion accepts me. You know what I'm saying? But behind the humor, it's a serious point. If external approval becomes less necessary, now what happens then? The markets, they're going to adapt. If spending declines in some lifestyles, right, companies may shift pressure toward necessities, right? So that means food, housing, transportation, healthcare. I can see all of these things being more expensive because they see people are not spending things on stuff that actually don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like weave, turtlenecks. You know what I'm saying? People stop buying designer because you have so much validation from your AI companion. What you gonna do with a human? Nah, man, that don't make sense. What would you do with a human? And dependency risk, because AI, it's not just a tool. It's gonna become everything. You're gonna depend on it so much to the point to where it's almost like waking up. You gotta make your bed up, brush your teeth, get in the shower, right? I bet you it's a lot of people that get up, be in their phone, scrolling with some funky breath for an hour before they actually get up and go brush their teeth. You're dependent on it. You waking up and your phone, you know what I'm saying, is dead. You like, oh. Because you got to talk to your AI companion. Because remember, it's still beneficial. AI is going to always be beneficial. Because you can use it to scale. So if it's going to be beneficial 9 times out of 10, guess what? You gonna need it even when you think you don't need it. If your AI companion can tell you, ooh, excuse me, if your AI companion can tell you what time you're supposed to be doing this, what time you're supposed to be doing that, schedule your appointments. You go to ask it for help. It makes life so much easier and convenient. Why people would not put they all into it? You see what I'm saying? Do you smell what Master Quincy is cooking? Or am I off? You know? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Is your boy off? Do I not know what's popping? Do I not know what's going on? And I want you guys to really think about this and focus on these documents that I'm presenting, and try to think about what it is that you can do to make sure that you and your family does not lose the human connection that it should have. Right? You don't want that. You don't want that human connection to be lost or trickle down to generation. The younger generation, we need to make sure that they on point and they understand stuff like this, right? Because we grew up in different times, right? Not everybody watching this video, but if you grew up in a time where phones were just not a necessity, or you didn't have phones at all, or devices, or AI, or none of this stuff, you can understand the difference of what you saw then and what you see now. A lot of people wasn't exposed to a lot of things internationally, all across the world, right? All across your country, all across your state. So you've been exposed to things that you probably shouldn't even be exposed to in the first place, that may not be you. It may not be you, and it may not be a part of you. But you're gonna wind up taking heed to it, or you're gonna wind up getting involved into it. But remember, those were some different times that we lived in. So we have to make sure that, set boundaries in your family. Like have a day where no phones, no phones Sunday, no phones at the dinner table. You know what I'm saying? Let's limit it. We need it, so we listen. We don't need it, but in this day and age, in order to keep up, you have to have it. So don't take it away completely, but just make sure that you are having a lot of control on it. If you are a parent, right? Because I don't think the next generation are going to understand what I'm talking about. Like it's gonna go over their heads, right? Now things get too far, society may eventually realize that convenience solved many problems, but it also created a new one. People stopped needing each other. You know what I'm saying? The same way they could create human interaction guidelines. You know what I'm saying? They could hire social wellness agents or human connection coaches to help people rebuild communication habits, because human connection is a natural thing. That's a part of living. So if we don't have it, the world won't be able to function correctly. It's not going to be able to function the way it's supposed to, right? And like I say, this is all theory. It's not fear mongering. This is my theory-based educational overview. And that is, what year was that? What year do we have that set at? What year do we have that prediction at, y'all? Yeah. Stage 2, remember that's an overlap. There is an overlap. Stage 3 is pretty much 2035. No, 2030 and up, but there's an overlap. And by 2036, maybe, I want to say, my prediction is between 2036 and 2040, that's when we're going to start to see a major change. My theory, my opinion, right? By 2050, solutions are going to start kicking in. Yeah, solutions are going to start getting kicked in. Communities could bring back mandatory in-person, social commentary where everybody starts to communicate. It's going to be places where no phones allowed. Like, you may go to a restaurant, most restaurants are going to start implementing no phones allowed, just so people can make sure that they have a good time. Churches, it's going to be no phones in the building. Like, it's going to be people are going to see what way the world is shifting, and then they're going to start to try to make changes, and hopefully it won't be too late. In my theory, it's going to be too late. They're going to try, but it's going to be too late. It's going to be normal to not be as connected with humans as it is now, right? And it's going to start to affect the world. It's going to affect the population. It's going to affect the markets. It could affect the birth rates. It could affect divorce rates. All of these things can possibly happen. So make sure you guys, keep your eyes on it. We've been going on this live for a long minute. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this. Like I say, hit that like button, comment. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe.
Master Quincy warned us about the robots slowly taking over us, the way we think, the way we move, our creativity. It was all in real time back in the 2020s, when people used to do videos and live stream. Yes, he warned us, but no one wanted to listen.